Bears head coach Ben Johnson calls out the team leaders prior to the embarrassing loss to the Baltimore Ravens. And today's episode of Keek on the Mic starts right now.
You ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic. You can go and subscribe cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the mic.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. So, Bears fans, not the result that we wanted against a Lamar Jackson-less Baltimore Ravens team, but huge shout out to Tyler Huntley, Derrick Henry, and the Baltimore Ravens for getting that huge must-win over the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears just look flat, and just like my dad told me in our phone conversation this morning, he's like, son, I truly believe that we just got out-physicaled in yesterday's loss to the Baltimore Ravens. Before I go any further with today's episode of Keek on the Mic, I just want to be very transparent with the listeners. Some of the people that may already be out on Caleb Williams, I want to be very transparent with you guys that I will always support any quarterback or any player of the Chicago Bears as long as they are a part of this organization. I am not saying to not be critical of these players when they are not playing well. I am just saying that I'm going to give them the ultimate support as long as they are a part of the Chicago Bears. I did the same with Justin Fields. I did the same with Mr. Trubisky. I even at one point protected Mike Glennon as well, because that's what I just did as a Chicago Bears fan. So if you guys do not like my input, that is totally fine. You do not have to listen. You can unsubscribe. You can go find a different fan base. At the end of the day, that is just my personal opinion. I'm just giving you guys a forewarning for what's going to be talked about on today's episode of Keek on the Mic. So first and foremost, after the embarrassing loss to the Baltimore Ravens, 30-16, the Chicago Bears dropped to 4-3. And right now it seems that, the sky is falling for most Bears fans. And, people want Caleb Williams' head. People are just saying the season is over, this and that. And to me, that is so far-fetched. We should be very blessed that the Chicago Bears are 4-3, especially considering that we truthfully got most likely bailed out in that Washington Commanders game where, Jaden Daniels fumbled the football, led to a game-winning field goal. And, of course, Joshua Blackwell with that game-sealing block over the Las Vegas Raiders. Those two games could have easily been losses. We could easily be looking at a 1-5 or 2-5 or 2-6 football team right now. But no, the Chicago Bears are sitting at 4-3 right now. They're currently 8th in the NFC conference, sitting right outside the wild card spot. So right now the sky is not falling. But after the embarrassing loss to the Baltimore Ravens where Lamar Jackson did not play, head coach Ben Johnson actually called out the Chicago Bears team leaders. He basically stated that the responsibility for cleanup mistakes, particularly the excessive penalties, ultimately lies with them. Johnson indicated that the coaching staff has been addressing these issues, but hasn't seen the desired results, placing the onus on the players to get the team right. Give me your initial reaction down below in the comment section. Once again, love how honest and transparent Ben Johnson is with his, coaching staff and his players. He has no problem whatsoever in calling out the players on this roster. Personally, it's 50-50. It can be on the coaching staff, right, to get the penalties cleaned up. Right now, the Chicago Bears are averaging, 9 penalties a game. They had some big penalties yesterday as well. I know there were some iffy calls from the referees, but those penalties did not lose the Chicago Bears the football game. So yes, some of it is on the coaching staff, but I do like the point that he brought up, just saying, hey, it's also on the leaders of this football team, the captains, right? So I love when he calls players out, because it's really now up to the players to respond to the challenge to get the team right and move on from this loss to the Baltimore Ravens and get prepared for the Cincinnati Bengals, because once again, the season is not all lost. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about our quarterback in Caleb Williams. Right now, there's a lot of people out there, and this includes non-Bears fans and even Bears fans that say, Caleb is not the guy. Caleb is a bust. We should trade Caleb Williams. We should start Tyson Bagent. We should start Case Keenum. the season is over. The Bears are 4-3. No, the season is not over. Bears fans, I will be the first one to say that Caleb Williams still has my whole support. I still feel that he is the long-term answer for the Chicago Bears. But I will say on today's episode of Keek on the Mic that he does need to play better. But here's the thing, Bears fans. Caleb Williams does not need to hear it from us, people that have never played the quarterback position at a high level. He is already taking accountability. He understands that he needs to play better. He's hearing it from his head coach, Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson is also calling him out to play better. And I believe that Ben Johnson is doing everything in his power to really build up Caleb Williams and develop him the right way. But to say that Caleb Williams needs to be traded, or saying that Caleb Williams needs to be benched, or saying that the season is over is so far-fetched, Bears fans. And if you truly believe that, maybe you should just truly find another team to support, or even unsubscribe to my channel at that point, because I am going to go all in and say that I still have the utmost belief in quarterback Caleb Williams. He has, to me, from year 1 to year 2, has shown some still pretty good progression. And of course, when I say that, there has still been some struggles, which we kind of understood coming into the season that it would be just that. Just because we got Ben Johnson, just because we fixed the offensive line, just because Ryan Poles added weapons to the outside, doesn't mean it was going to happen overnight. Doesn't mean it was going to click right away. We all understood that this season was really to lay the foundation and the groundwork of what we truly wanted this offense to be. It's not going to happen overnight, Bears fans. The second that Ben Johnson was named the head coach of the Chicago Bears, he has really stripped and broke Caleb Williams down to the studs. And what he's doing right now is trying to build him back up. So there's going to be some games where Caleb Williams doesn't look really that good, right? And we've seen that the last 2 weeks, that he has been struggling with accuracy issues, right? He's been struggling with some interceptions. We have been struggling in the red zone. But at the same time, this is not a finished product here in Chicago. I think what's kind of tough for Caleb Williams personally is that the last 2 weeks you played the New Orleans Saints, where you could have taken advantage against that defense, right? You played the Baltimore Ravens, which they have not been very good this season on defense as well. And the Chicago Bears, not only with Caleb Williams, but as an offense, has not taken advantage. You look at the beginning of the game, the first 2 drives, the Bears drove with ease, but they were held to 6 points, 2 field goals. If they score 2 touchdowns there, could have been a different ball game. Ultimately, that's not how the game went. And now Caleb Williams takes the fault because he is the quarterback. That is the responsibility that you take when you are the quarterback of a franchise. But to say that Caleb Williams is a bust, to say that, he needs to be traded or benched, I think it's so far-fetched, especially considering that this is not going to happen overnight. The success of this offense is not going to happen overnight. But what I do like is that even with Caleb Williams struggling a little bit, even with the offense being stagnant, the Chicago Bears are still sitting at 4-3. Granted, the defense has been playing out of their mind the last couple of weeks prior to not playing well against the Baltimore Ravens, but that's due to the fact that the Chicago Bears have really no secondary pieces right now, and they did the best that they could. But when the Chicago Bears are not taking over the football, you can see that the Chicago Bears offense, with Caleb Williams included, are a little bit far away. But personally, I am not going to give up on Caleb Williams quite yet. I've always believed that a quarterback should get 3 years. Look at the Josh Allen situation. A lot of people, wrote Josh Allen off. And then in year 3, he absolutely exploded. I believe the same narrative was with Jalen Hurts as well. People were writing Jalen Hurts off. Then 1 year, he absolutely came out of his shell and tore up the league. The same thing can still happen for Caleb Williams. We understand that he has to get better, but at the end of the day, this is going to be a process, Bears fans, and we understand he needs to work on his accuracy issues. We understand that he needs to prove that he can actually win football games for us. We all get that, but at the end of the day, we have to trust Ben Johnson and the rest of the offensive coaching staff to continue to build up Caleb Williams the right way. And Caleb Williams will tell you first and foremost that he has to be better. And I can promise you that Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson, and the rest of the organization will continue to work hard to figure this out. Once again, this season is all about laying the groundwork of this culture, of this football team, of the offense, of Caleb Williams, right? And the fact that we are still sitting at 4-3 with some winnable games, granted, once again, Caleb Williams has to play a lot better. But the point that we are 4-3 with, you know, our offense, Caleb Williams not clicking quite yet, and with the injuries that we have on the defense, to me is still pretty remarkable to me. So personally, you guys can have your opinions. I hope you guys can respect my opinion. What do you think is the biggest issue with Caleb Williams or the Chicago Bears football team? I cannot wait to hear from you guys down below in the comment section. But as always, Bears fans, make sure you guys continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, be back for our all-new Bears podcast right here on Keek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
Cali to Chi-Town, it's Bears on the flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the Mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better